So hello everyone. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about correlation in this video. It's going to be a short, concise video. I'll just show you how you can do that or how you can find a solution for it. In principle, many people know that when, for example, a Euro-USD pair rises, a EuroCAD or a GBP USD, for instance, also rises, but that, for example, another currency pair then falls. What I mean is, I'm going to show you right now how you, with some very simple means, if you're feeling a little bit unsure, perhaps even before you make your first move. If you're scalpers, that probably won't be the case, but if you're operating in higher time frames and you trade a lot of pairs, then it's often true that you might not know which currency pairs correlate with each other. At least it's like this, that you can say, okay, for example, I know that if I trade gold now in the long direction, meaning if gold goes long, the US dollar will fall, for instance. These are exactly the things you learn over time. If you always trade the same things or only have a few currency pairs, it's not a problem. You just come to know that eventually, but you can also find a solution for it with that. So, for example, if we want something here, like a correlation calculator, then you simply enter the economic calendar correlation calculator. And this information then comes to us from investing.com. And I also use this when I often don't know which currency pair truly correlates how strongly, for example. And then we take, yes, we already have the Euro-US dollar open here. Then let's take the Euro-US dollar here, for example. We are usually in 30 minutes. You can also set other time frames here, 15 hourly. I'm going to take 30 minutes now, and I'll go here to the number of periods field and set it to 25, and then I'll just click calculate. And you can see quite clearly. This is where the suitable pairs will then be suggested, which positively correlated or negatively correlated. In other words, those that move with the chart, you could say, or move against the chart. What this means is, if you're currently taking a long position on the Euro-US dollar, you should also perhaps avoid entering a short trade in GBP USD, for example, or in the Euro-JPY pair, for instance. Or as I mentioned earlier, the EuroCAD is also one of those pairs that tends to move rather positively in conjunction with the Euro-US dollar. So you can see quite clearly here, for example, if I were to go long on EUR USD, I could very well short NZD USD, perhaps. How does that look on a chart now? We have EUR USD open here in the M30 time frame, and you have the compare symbol up here. That means you would then enter here, for example, what we had. Let's take the Euro JPY, the GBP USD is clear, but let's take the Euro JPY, for example. That means our Japanese yen. Let's add this to our discussion, and you can clearly see that it's actually, so to speak, following the movement of the chart here. This means, for example, if the Euro-US dollar exchange rate rises in value here, then the Euro-JPY pair will also rise along with it. If it falls here, the Euro-JPY will also fall in this instance as well. This, for example, isn't always perfectly aligned, but in principle, you can generally say that if the Euro-US dollar rate increases, the Euro-JPY rate should also increase in tandem. Or what would that be then, for example? Let's take, for instance, the NZD USD, which is negatively correlated here, negatively, so to speak. That means we're taking the NZD USD here. Oops.
So, and as you can clearly see, once again in this instance, the euro is currently being shorted against the dollar. And this one's going short, and the NCD USD is going long here. As I've already said, that's naturally not always the case, but in principle, it is the situation that when I have a particular currency pair here, it's so correlated that you'd say, okay, if, for example, this is just a guide. So if you know, if you might enter another trade, it's a factor you could take into account. This doesn't mean that if the euro dollar rises, what's listed here must immediately rise with it or sharply or whatever, but there is a correlation. There are certainly tons of videos about what correlation is, or also information. I just want to quickly show you in this video where you can quickly find what's currently relevant. So you can say, okay, right now, if you go long on euro US dollar, for example, you can also take these currency pairs long up here. But if, for example, there were a zone signal for you now, meaning we're trading the zone in euro USD, then I could potentially also look at GBP USD or euro JPY at the same time. It might also form a zone or have already formed one and go long as well. This means you can still add another currency pair, even though you might have only analyzed your zones in one currency pair. Or here you could also short another currency pair, so that you say, okay, I would then short the USD CAD because now I'm going long based on zones in euro US dollar. I actually just wanted to briefly show this here in this short video. Yeah, and as I said, just check this out. I don't know if you use it or if you've already given thought to correlation methods. If you want deeper insights, there are certainly tons of videos on YouTube. I won't go through everything again, so to speak. There are very good videos on YouTube. Just click through it if you want to look into it further. As I said, this is just a quick solution, and with the plus symbol in TradingView, you can always add one or two symbols and compare how they truly correlate currently or how they've performed recently. Let's put it that way. Well, that's pretty much it. So much for the topic of correlation. I wish you all happy pips and ciao ciao. Have a wonderful day, your Manuel.